Danny on the beat, boy.
Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host, Eddie Arnell, my man G with Mr. J. Luce. Going on, gentlemen?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, guys. Week 18, man. Last week. When's the last time we said that? It's been a minute. Last week of the season. No playoffs. No playoffs. Titans coming in here, man, looking for the spoiler. You know, it's ironic that we are here this day of this year. And kind of some deja vu, man. On the other hand, last year we were playing to get in, and we kind of skidded down the stretch, and the Jaguars seem to be in that same position. And and I've been reading social media. I've been hearing people mad because the Titans won today. Truth be told, win or lose, they wouldn't have moved to draft positions. It'd have been seventh pick in the draft. So glad to see them knock off the Jaguars today, man. But you wanted to see a vintage king day. J. Lou, I told G what I said, man, he got to bust one for at least 200 today. He got to get two
It's
bills.
close.
Got to
It's
get
close.
2 bills today,
Yeah.
man. I was looking for the big run. He got the big run, but I wanted the 99 when they had the ball right there on the half-yard line. But
Yes.
anyway, Titans, man, 28, Jags, 20. G. Witt, man, give me something about this game today, man, that really caught your eye. Week 18, a lot to play for the Titans want to get a win and over a division rival. Somebody that's been talking smack the last couple times we played.
No, let's be real. They've been talking smack since the game last year. Come on.
Right.
You know, in all honesty, a couple of things other than the Kings' big day today. And I'm like you, I was hoping he would get 2 bills, but it didn't happen. But my one of the things that surprised me today was the run blocking of the O-line.
Yeah.
Best run blocking they've done all season. I thought that was pretty telling. The fact that Tim Kelly pulled out all the stops today is another thing. I mean, we saw more trick plays today than we've seen all season. And I will say that overall, I thought the defense played well.
Yeah.
It's hard to criticize them when they tried 3 4th downs and I don't think they converted any of them. So especially that 4th and inches or 4th and a yard on the goal line, great penetration by the D tackles and everything to get in to make it hard for Sunshine to leap over and even extend the ball.
Right.
So other than that, I mean those are the 3 takeaways I got. Again, anytime we beat the Jags, I'm happy. I'm always happy with division wins. I'm extremely happy because we knocked them out of the playoffs. So only one team from the AFC South is going, and that's the Texans. But with all the smack talk that the Jag fans did all season.
Oh, what about in the game, G? Before we even got to
before we got to the game and everything. So to see them go home with their heads down in silence, that made it all worth the while. 6 wins is just 6 wins, but at least we went out, as far as I'm concerned, on a high note.
Right. J. Lou, go ahead, man.
So my first thing is, I told y'all 2 weeks ago, and I say it again, Otis Reese IV is going to be a baller for this team.
He is.
Like, you saw him play with his once he figures out again what he's doing at the position, but you saw him play with speed and you saw him looking to knock folks out. I was excited to see my guy out there. So I thought he played pretty well. I agree with G-Wit. I thought the defense overall played well. Again, I'm not gonna get on here and beat defensive coordinator to death tonight because again, I still think that I really saw today how bad Sunshine is, man. He had all this time in the pocket because we couldn't get no pressure on him, and he was missing wide open receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, wide open receivers. So kudos to that. A vintage, like we kept talking about, vintage Derrick Henry game. For all of those folks who had been down on Peter Skoronski, go watch the film today.
Man.
My man had syrup and pancakes all day long.
And Dylan.
And
Dylan too.
Dylan. Yeah, and Dylan has some too. I mean, now Dylan is still great for getting you 1 or 2 false starts a game, but you got to live with that when he's pancaking. And I thought our guy, John O, you got to remember they ran a lot of tackle eligible today, and I thought he did well on some of those blocks. And you could tell that Derrick Henry, it meant something to him. He was running with a purpose.
Yeah.
Again, you got a glimpse into the future for those. And again, Tyjae Spears can be a feature back, and we don't say he needs 20, 25 carries. 15 carries out of his 15 carries, if 10 of them are explosive, that's good in my book. And you saw what he was capable of doing when he toe tapped a sideline little
man.
So I thought he played pretty well. Overall, again, it was good. You know, I kept talking last week was the first time that I thought the team said Cancun. It was ready to get out of here. But today they came out to get some get back because we was in the same position again as you mentioned earlier last year. But today was one of them games where I thought you saw that the team actually played for the coaching staff. I think some of this coaching staff was playing for their jobs. Tim Kelly, I don't literally whatever playbook he pulled out, he needs to keep that one out. Well, because I thought he had a good mix and good feel of the game. Tannehill, man, he is what I knew going into the game. If you were entertainment purposes and you put stuff on D-Hop in his what he needed for contracts, you knew he was going to get receptions. You knew he was going to get the yards. But there was a lot of throws. The interception Tannehill threw was a force. And I'll tell you this: everybody wants to talk about it, be on the Treylon Burks had 0 catches and 0 yards. Burks was wide open several times.
Not just this week.
This week he's been open. And I mean, this week it was even one time this game where D-Hop pointed to him after the play to Tannehill because there was nobody within him. So, but overall, again, you like to see some of the young players continue to improve, and that's how we've asked for over the last couple of weeks to see. I mean, it's first time in the Vrabel era that the Titans have been out of it. So to see some of these young players continue to play and see what, I'm interested to see what this team looks like going forward when you have 45 to 50% turnover. But again, I think some of the ones, your Otis Reese's, your Dillons, I think some of those guys have made a case to at least go into camp with a shot at making the team.
Man, thank y'all already for joining us on Halftime Adjustments. Darius in the building. Dion, Josh, of course, is here. My brother, Josh, I'm not going to call him little brother, but he's my younger brother. He's a Steelers fan, and so he is happy today because the Steelers made the playoffs.
Steelers and the Bills, man.
Bills, Will, Carlton, man. Thank y'all, man, for joining us tonight. And so there's a few things. Y'all mentioned the vintage King. I just had that feeling today, man. We was going to see King run the ball hard today. And I'm with you, G. Where has this run blocking been all season? It's like, we've talked to death about the zone run scheme that this team with this offensive line is built to do. And we didn't see it until the last couple of weeks, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. I'm with y'all, the play calling in particular, it was just, like I said, it's weird to see it. Then, of course, and J. Lou, I was telling it to G. Witt, I'm okay with the DBs playing at 10 yards, but if you're going to do that, have some underneath coverage. Have somebody drop it in the curl flat. Just don't have them play back there and no linebackers underneath to help. And so, that is what it is. Tannehill, to me, is probably best as a backup right now.
Oh, yeah.
He was throwing the ball behind the receivers a bunch today. The deep ball he threw to D-Hop was open at first. He put too much air and he threw it late. A couple other things real quick, too. The offense was 3 for 3 in the red zone today.
Yeah.
And something else I took away, which is huge. Then, of course, again, the defense can't get out the field on third down, 8 for 14 for Jacksonville on that. And so let's break it down a little bit. Got the little lose in the building.
Yeah.
Talking tonight. So, Otis Reese is a player, man. Agree with you, Eddie. Great, man. Appreciate the comment. Let's see. Dion says our solution left tackle has been on the field all season. We just stuck him at left guard. Yeah. Don't know why they didn't try Peter at tackle, but hey, man, we'll see what happens in the offseason. Will says you can't spell Duval without the L. So somebody, it was Dion. Did we wave bye to Trevor? Yes. Me and
Yes.
G Whit both waved a
I
lot
did too.
and
was
said
singing.
goodbye.
I
See
even
you later.
waved. I even waved at the owner when he was driving out when we were coming across the
Right.
street.
I said good. We all said goodbye
Yeah,
Said,
See you
"Bye,
later."
sunshine."
and come join us on the couch.
on the
and watch
couch.
the playoffs.
Exactly.
So, all of man, I'm telling the fans for the Jaguars, man. I mean, we hadn't even got to this. We just got in the stadium and they
Yeah, they were
already talking
already.
trash, man. It's
Yes.
just yep. But they were so quietly. What happened? Well, y'all come on. Yeah, Dillard. So I will mention that somebody just brought my. I actually thought Dillard played pretty good today.
It wasn't bad.
Considering everything we've seen, I'll
That's
give
right.
you that. Yeah.
That's right. And I, it's almost like, and we know what the deal is. You potentially finna get a whole new coaching staff minus the head coach. Potentially.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't know. It's all the rumors. So now everybody's playing because it's like, I got to get something on film. 'cause
It
my
might be
livelihood is-
gone.
right. So let's get into the offense a little bit more, guys. If there's anything else that we can hit on there, of course, like we talked about Derrick Henry, but J. Lou, man, what else did you see on the offensive side of the ball that kind of caught your attention today?
There was a Kyle Phillips sighting.
There
and a
was. He was
great
wide
catch.
open.
Yeah, a great catch that he made there on the sideline. So good to see him try to get involved again. I think you go into this offseason trying to find you a legitimate return man where you can let Kyle try to be that slot that part of this offense is missing. Again, I thought the run blocking was, it's everybody was up, and you feel like the whole team fed off that energy, knowing this could possibly be Derrick's last game in the stadium. And they, if I'm not mistaken, both running backs averaged over 8 yards a carry.
That is correct
for the game. So
that is correct.
The offensive line was getting to the second level, and then some, and they were cleaning up. So it was good to see, and you saw what that does when you get the running game going, the play actions working. Again, the passing game, again, to your point, Tannehill is what he is at this point because we were missing receivers all day long. But overall, again, I think this was one of the better played, better called Tim Kelly games. The one black eye steal, it's been 3 years since 2021 since they scored 30 points. I really thought they were going to be close today. I really thought they would be close.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I told G Whit. I said, G Whit, they got 28 points. It's over. Shut it down. No more scoring.
Yeah.
And then
That's what happened.
he's gone.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
gone.
happened.
It's almost like if you see a cartoon or something on TV and you see the character walk to the edge, like I want to jump, but I don't want to jump.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. It's like they get to 20. It's like, man,
Paused.
yeah, it's like we don't need to score any more points because that's enough.
That's
Man,
enough.
I thought they might get a field goal after the deal, but then
Something, man.
Then of course it was on the drive where Tannehill threw the
interception. Yes, that
was the one drive that was actually going.
Yes,
He telegraphed that pass so bad.
He telegraphed it
I'm
for
like-
everybody in the stadium.
I'm like, good grief, man. I mean,
Gosh.
the safety beat D Hop to the spot so quick it wasn't even funny.
Yes,
I was like, man, come on.
He
didn't even
stared
look
him
wrong.
down the whole way.
Set him down. I mean,
You didn't even look. You didn't look off anything. But I thought that was going to be the closest we were going to probably get to possibly getting a field goal and making it 31. But of course, Tannehill, he must have got instructions from some in his brain to say, "No, we can't do that. Just throw an interception."
I'm out.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah. But now overall, like I said, it was good to see him in the season. To G Whit's point, I mean, you never know. And again, this won't be the same team next year, but you never know how that mojo for winning in the new year and ending the year and can give you some momentum going off. I mean, it's easier to be in the locker room after a win than sobbing today and then got to go clean out everything tomorrow. And I'll continue to say it, man. It's going to be very exciting to see if they can use Spears the way he needs to be used. Again, he's not a Derrick Henry type back. I feel like our philosophy has to switch from a 25-plus carry a game back to more 15 touches. And I don't know how many touches he had today, but his we see why he was top 4 rookies in all-purpose yards. And think about, and when you think about it that way, he was top 4 in the league with this offense that couldn't put up no points and also didn't get a lot of carries and a lot of playing time. So I think if you can continue to use him as a weapon in this offense, I think you got a bright future ahead, especially when there were throws today in the game. There were plays today rather than the game where if Will Levis is in there, you see a much better passing game from that standpoint. But again, overall, I thought Tim Kelly, who knows, he could have been coaching his last game as the OC. He at least went out with a bang.
Yeah.
Go ahead, G Wood, about the offense, man.
Yeah. Well, one thing I just want to answer Carlton. No, I did not speak to Nate Washington.
Hey, so hold on. I'm sorry, G. Let me butt right here. So 2 home games in a row, they have brought out 2 of G Wood's favorite Titans of
Back
all
to back.
time. All time.
Back
Michael
to back.
Griffith
Yep.
against Seattle and Nate Washington. Nate Washington told G Wood, and I promise y'all this is the honest truth because I was there and I witnessed it. G Wood was talking to him about catching that ball at training camp. You know what he told G Wood? He said he made too much money to talk to you. And then he walked away.
Yes.
But back to back weeks, man. Way to go. Hey, at least they gave you something.
Gave you something.
Yeah. But go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say again, I can't say I would say this. When you find about Tyjae Spears, one of the things I think that's so deceptive about him is his strength, his overall strength. When he caught that little flare out and took it to the house, the linebackers and everything thought, he was just a little tiny back. You can just handle him, and he just broke the tackles and kept on going. So
yes.
I think that's really we'll see next year because people are going to know about him next year. So we'll see how it goes next year, next season. But yeah, I think there's a lot they can do with him. I think, really, in all honesty, with more creative play calling, you can do a lot more with him.
Yeah.
Even and still, he can run between the tackles. D Hop showed his. He just showed out today.
He's an alien, man. He's an alien.
that first catch he made on the side, I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
This nigga got hands from I don't know where. But
that's what we saw in training camp too, right?
Right.
That's what we saw. But the thing about it, and Eddie pointed out during the game, he said one thing about D Hop, he knows how to get down and how to get out of bounds. He's not going to take any unnecessary punishment.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, he learned that from Andre Johnson. So I'm pretty sure he's in pretty good shape. Other than that, though, Chig had a good game, I thought.
Yeah.
Couple of drops, but one of his drops I don't put on him because Tannehill threw it way behind him. I'm like, it just didn't make any sense. But other than that, man, I thought Chig played a good game. The tight ends overall, I thought did fairly decent today. I really don't have any complaints about that. Again, we'll get to it later, but I'm just concerned. We're going to see how this O line is going to shape out and who's going to be gone and everything. Pass blocking was okay, but the run blocking just surprised the daylights out of me. Where's it been all season? I
know, man.
Where has that been all season? The King was hitting the hole, and I'm like, he was hitting the hole with space, and they knew we were running the ball, and he was hitting the hole with space. So I'm trying to figure out where has this run blocking been all season long, man.
So like we just talked about this last week too. The zone run scheme is what they were supposed to run all season. We haven't even seen it until the last couple home games. So it's just strange, man. It's just strange.
It's weird.
They ran it against Houston and did pretty good on the road for the most part. Got down early, so they had to get away from it. But it is, man. I don't know. It's like everybody's job was on the line today, even Vrabel. So, but let's get. Will say he thought you had on a 33 jersey, G Whip, but he see his twos now.
No. I still say the same thing I've always said. The 33 jersey, that number should be burned.
It should go along with 71 too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
71. Yeah. Burn it. Delete it. No one gets those numbers ever again. It ain't about retirement. They're just not in the repertoire anymore.
Let's see. Dion says Tannehill's an old dog, can't learn new tricks. Just go ahead and retire. Eddie Gray says, do we go out and get Saquon? That's a good question, man. That's a good question.
That's a big roll of dice for Saquon because let's be truthful about it. The Giants should have paid him more than what they paid him because he was the cog for Daniel Jones. But
yeah,
at the same time, his injury history is huge. I mean, and that's going to be interesting to see if he signs back with the Giants.
That's one of those high risk, high reward if it works out, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Rodney says, now that the season has ended on a high note, who do we pick at 7? We'll talk about that in a minute, Rodney. We'll come back to your question, man. Don't let us forget that. But the only thing I would say, and somebody mentioned is Kyle Phillips. Good to see him, but he's got to stay healthy, man. He's got to be on the field. Now, I know he was healthy scratches here in the last few weeks, but he did have a hamstring injury as well. So, but yeah, that's his problem, G, with your point, like you mentioned, man. He's got to be able to stay on the field. 6 for 11, a third down conversion day. Again, not a bad day for the offense today. 327 yards, 152 pass, and 175 rushing. Penalties again, like you said, man, good for a false start here and there. So it's like you gotta have it's not a normal game if you don't have one.
If you don't have one.
And it came on both tackles too. I'm like, tackles. But hey, I give the King his credit. That 69-yard run he had, that was just very reminiscent, man. And the only thing about it was you saw again. I think I go back to what I said about him earlier. I think a lot of times with the King this season, especially last season, really affected him. So he's making sure he sees everything that's coming to him to protect the ball, and that causes him to slow down because normally when he broke out like that, he's usually just gone. Yeah. He's not looking at anybody. But I think last year the way he kept fumbling the ball, especially against Jacksonville, and I think he had 4 fumbles or something like that. You can see how he's more concerned about making sure he holds on to the ball as opposed to imposing that stiff arm on somebody.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like it, but I mean, if you watch the game, you saw it. Derrick Henry, I don't know what's happening, but he's missing the hole a lot, more than usual.
Yeah,
I mean, one of them he kind of jumped, cut, and side to side. And he just would have ran straight ahead. He probably got about 10 or 15 yards. I don't know what the deal is. I've never played running back, but when they showed on the Jumbotron replay, and so I don't know, man. We'll see. Do they bring him back? I'm with J. Lou, man. If he's thinking, he said if it's a cap friendly deal, like a 1-year guarantee with option on 2 or 3 years or whatever it might be, then yeah, I would take him back.
Yeah, you do that,
yeah. And so Will says Levis needs to change his 2. Number 8 is injury prone.
That's true. That's true. I ain't gonna disagree with you on that either.
Yeah, and then Tannehill getting the defense jump outside. Yeah, Tannehill's good at his snap count inflections, and so veteran guy, that was a huge play, huge penalty against the Jaguars to get him off that half-foot line. And so let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball, guys. J. Lou, you start off with that, man, about this defense today. I know, like you said, Otis Reed. Matter of fact, Rand Carthon was really giving a lot of praise to Otis before the game on the radio. And so talk about this defense a little bit, man, from your perspective.
I thought we got to see, and again, I've been on the bandwagon of bringing Sean Murphy back as your outside corner 2. You saw today, you got to deal with the good and the ugly of him. I mean, because you saw he has no speed there. But first of all, he was the corner, so yes, he's gonna get the blame. But I don't know what safety Molden was doing.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Molden was horrible.
He was too deep. He was behind Bunting on that one, man.
But I thought you saw again playing the good and bad with him. I thought he's just physical, and that's what we missed. Again, you saw Roger be Roger and making some great tackles. Sean Murphy made some good tackles today. He had a couple of out of
him and Roger gonna tackle. You know that for
they're gonna tackle. So I thought they did well. And again, I thought that overall, because again, we know the weapons that the Jaguars have. I thought overall the DBs played well, considering that Sunshine had time. We just wasn't generating pressure
Oh my God.
at all today. I mean, we stayed with a 4-man rush. The stunts were not working. I saw one corner blitz that was a slot corner because we brought Roger. That's the only one I saw. So for him to have time and the DBs to hold up that they did, that's a win. Again, I thought they played well against the run. Now, ETN he's a shifty little back, but I thought they settled down. And again, you think of some of these no names. You know, it's funny. Everybody made a big deal about Jaleel Johnson getting cut and making the stuff on Twitter. Then they brought him back.
They good today.
There's a reason they brought him back because ever since then he's been playing well as he's came back. So I thought again, when you start looking at some D linemen like that, that's some depth pieces. And I was talking in the stands with the guys that sit near me. We were talking about the coaching staff, and I think you get rid of everybody on the coaching staff except for maybe the D-line coach and DB on the defensive side, because that D-line has been the one constant in the 5, 6 years, 7 years that Vrabel's been here that just rotate through players and really don't have a large drop-off. Now, again, we know Big Jeff wasn't out there. We know Tart's been shipped off. We know Pico has been hurt. But the guys you got that just came off the streets, the last 2 weeks or so, they've played some good ball against basically playoff teams. That you knocked them out of the playoffs today. So I thought they did pretty well. And again, just the fourth down, one of the fourth down plays, not the last one, but one of them, I think we called the timeout, and we were 7. No, it was the last drive. We were 7 yards off the ball before the timeout. Don't know what they changed in the timeout, but if you go back and look, we finally came up and break because it was only 4th and 2, and I'm like, this is an easy shot. But then again, you saw, and again, the Jaguars ran, and that's just good defense. The Jaguars ran the exact same play, 3rd and 4th down at the end of the game, and Trevor, I overshot him both times. So again, I think kudos to the defense. We continue to see they gave up 20 points today, and that's what we've said all year long. 20 points or less, you should be in more games than not. And the offense just hadn't been able to hold up their end of the deal. So I thought it was a nice way for the defense to go out. Again, the linebacker, I don't remember 54's name because he came in to spell a little bit. But I thought he played
or something like that.
I thought he played well, and he was out of position sometimes in the zone that they were running. But other than that, I thought you didn't really see a big drop off from the linebacker.
Garrett Wallow.
Okay. And then Algier, he still continues to me. He solidified you bringing him back for another year and pairing him with somebody with speed that could actually be a nice duo. But
I think you got one with Otis Reese.
And I've been on the Otis Reese bandwagon for the last 3 weeks, man. It's like literally just watching him play. He plays so reckless because he really just hasn't learned it yet. But he's just so fast, and you can teach the rest of it because that's what we've been crying about forever. Is just speed at that linebacker position, and you finally might have found that. But overall, I think Shane Bowen called a good game, and hopefully this was his last one that he gets the call.
Yeah, he did. He did. And so, and I'm gonna flip it over to you, G. But let me say this real quick because you mentioned the corner blitz, J. Lou. And so here's the deal, man. I was really studying the plays today because I wanted to see what the deal was. And so the reason why the corner blitz doesn't work is because he's running the same easy corner, the slot blitz every time.
Every time.
And it gets picked up. There's no variancy to it. I mean, it's the same thing. And so he's bringing the slot and he's dropping the defensive end on the backside. It's the same thing every time.
Every single time.
So it's easy to pick up. I mean, why not change it up and do something different and bring 3 or 4 guys from that side and drop somebody in them? I don't know, man. It's something different. I mean, it's so easy to see. I was telling G what I said, here come the slide. It's going to get picked up.
Got picked up every time.
And to one
you did see Nathan. You did see Landry.
You saw Landry
you actually seen him line up in the weak side linebacker position off the ball.
Yes.
So, yeah. But go ahead, G.
No, I mean you guys hit it all on the head. Again, I can't say enough. You talk about Otis Reese. I just keep talking about Roger McCreary, man.
Yeah.
He had to play outside today, so yeah, he got a couple of penalties and everything. But I'm like, that's be expected from him because he's physical. And his main thing is like, you're just not going to beat me deep. That's my main concern.
Yes.
Oh, if I got to hold you, I'll hold you. If I got to push you, I'll push you, but you're not going to beat me deep. But at the same time, if you catch the ball in front of me, I'm going to make sure I tackle you. Yeah. And I just think he does it's just good to see him and Bunting both, make those tackles, shed off blocks and make tackles, just like I think it was Murphy Bunting did one time on NTN.
Man, that was a great tackle.
Going around to the outside. Great tackle, man. Shed his block and went there and made it and mowed and cleaned him up. And again, I thought Kevon Wallace, man, I think that's his last name. Man, again, I think that's a great pickup. He's proven to be a great pickup. Man, he plays hard and everything, makes his tackles and all that. But defensive line, man, I'm like you. I was impressed. The guys coming off the street. The telling play really is that 4th and goal at the 1. Again, when Sunshine tried to jump over the top of the pile and the DTs just got underneath the lineman and pushed him back to where he could, even stretching out, he couldn't make it. So those are the things about it. I thought the linebacker play was okay today. Again, I like the speed of both Reese and Sharir, but we just need a little bit more weight.
Yes.
To make those tackles stick, man. I think if you get somebody that they can just put on some weight, just make those tackles stick, man, you're talking about something you could have. I mean, because they both are heat-seeking missiles, and they both read the plays pretty well. Again, like you said, I think Reese, once he learns the play, the defense, I think he'll be great, man, because he's, like you said, he's a heat-seeking missile. If you go outside, I mean, those outs to the running back, and it was on his side, they weren't going anywhere.
No.
I was like, man, I said that's good to see, because I hate this coming up and then breaking down, waiting for the receiver or the running back or whatever to make a move. I'm like, dude, go tackle him.
Right. Right.
So we got to get some other than Wallace, man. Molden has been I'm going to say a disappointment at safety. I think he's adequate, but he's out of position, I think. The linebackers, again, Landry, just couldn't get no pass rush today. And I still didn't understand why they was only bringing in Nico on 3rd downs. I wasn't getting that at all. I mean, because it just didn't make any sense. I'm going to just put it like that.
Boy, did Arden Key get pissed when he get took out?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
He didn't even want to talk to Vrabel. He was like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
He was hot, man. They took him out on that 4th down. He was hot.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been hot, because they put Weaver in, and it was a passing situation.
Yeah.
He's better at pass rushing than Weaver, I would say. I mean, I don't know, man. Something happened there. Very interesting to see that. So 91 is the defensive tackle. Keandre Colburn. They picked him up off the practice squad from the Chiefs.
Gotcha.
And so, he's the one that blew up the quarterback sneak attempt. Yeah. I mean, he put the center all in the backfield. I was like, who is that penetrating like that?
Brian Shane, we got players on the team. We don't even know who they are, man.
That's why I said the practice squad is playing, and we don't even know who it is. Virgil says, do we think Wallace will be back? I hope so. Now, let me say this about Mr. Wallace, because, you saw today he gave up a touchdown to Melvin Ingram. I'm sorry, is that? No, I mean, not Melvin Ingram. The tight end for Evan Ingram. Excuse me, Evan Ingram. Thank you. And so, but if you go back and you look at it, like I said, I was studying today, man. Because I was looking for certain stuff. It looks like they were in a cover 4, which they run a lot. Mm-hmm. We run a lot of cover 4 here in Tennessee. And the reason why I say that is because the corner on that side, which I don't know if it was Avery or Garrard, they stayed with their man.
Yeah, it was Garrard.
Now, Wallace was playing zone. And so when he realized he was wide open, you can see him kind of stumble, then he go too late. And so just blown coverage there. But I think Wallace should be back. I think he deserves that opportunity, man. I thought he was a great pickup. Again, you look at the free agents, you look at the draft class, Rand did pretty good in some spots. Now, if we can just build off that going into the offseason. And I mentioned the easy blitz concepts. And then like I said, 8 for 14. Defense couldn't get off the field, but they were 0 for 3. The Jaguars were on 4th down, so that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge as a defense. Didn't get any sacks today, but had 2 big interceptions today, which Terrell Edmonds, he's finally redeemed himself by getting some playing time and had a nice little pick, and then
Great pick.
Sunshine overthrows his receiver, and SMB picks it off, and that's that. So 28-20, man. Defense again. I thought they played well considering the positions they were put in. A lot, especially right there, right before the half, and we turned the ball back over to Jacksonville, and you hold them to a field goal.
Yeah.
And now, Jay Lou, I don't know what your thoughts were, but I'm gonna ask you because me and G Witt was just scratching our head. So you got no timeouts by the Jaguars. It's 3rd down, and well, no, it's not even 3rd. They got a timeout left. And so the Titans drop 7 people back in the end zone. And they're at least the 30-yard line going in, if that. Maybe inside the 30. And I'm like, what in the world are they doing? And I told you, I said, they going to run a screen and have a bunch of linemen, and they going to score a touchdown. Well, they almost did
it. They almost did it on the run play because it wasn't a draw. It was just a draw. Right? I mean, there was nobody within 10 yards to touch him. At that point, you try to hold him up and let the clock run out, but it was prevent defense prevents you from winning. And you gifted them 3 points right there.
Well, at least when they called that timeout, because I was like that, because we were both up there. We were like, man, what kind of defense is this, man? Yeah. I'm like, you saw they still kind of ran the same defense, but this time was once Sunshine got up on the center, they told the linebackers and everything slide up.
Yeah.
You know, so at least they did that. But I was like, you got everybody going to the end zone. Have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
I'm like, he's only at the 28. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, that was about to be the dumbest play in NFL history, man.
Deion said got the whole offseason to ask the way to. Yeah, that's true. Ask the way without losing that speed, he gonna be right. That's Otis Reese. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's Lewis said that Jay Lou tell y'all Spears was practicing his touchdown dancing for the game, so we knew he was going to score a TD.
Yeah, he was. He was down there. He was down there. He had a few little dances that he practiced, and my man scored. Which, believe it or not, that was his first 2 of the entire season. Like literally, those were his first 2. Yes,
that's
that
right.
was his
that's
first
right.
2
That's
touchdowns
right.
of the entire season.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
So good to see the young man get there. But that's what we said. Me and Louis said, but he better score since he's down there practicing.
I know that's right.
Deion says the only thing Rand missed on was Dillard. Other free agents in draft class contributed well. Nah, I agree with you, man.
I think people missed the most important pickup that Rand had. Rand gave up a 7th round 2025 for our kicker, who only set the franchise record for accuracy. I saw that on the jumbo screen today.
Yeah, that's so. Those milestones are just ridiculous.
Yeah,
think about that, man.
Like, really?
Think about that.
Yes.
For a football team that's 6-11,
Man.
you got a back that had almost 1,200 yards.
Uh-huh.
You had a receiver that went over 1,000. You had a Shire ended up with 163 tackles, 3 shy of the franchise record.
Yep.
Right. You mentioned Nick Folk, the most accurate kicker in the NFL franchise
history.
And
Stonehouse
back to back, the 2 highest grossing punt average years back to back.
That's just mind blowing that you got all those things in every phase of the game. Vrabel always preaches complimentary football. Each 3 phases.
And the number 1 red zone defense.
And the number 1 red zone defense.
Yeah, that's the one.
And you saw it again today. You saw it again today.
Yep.
On the 4th down stop at the 1-yard line. And they stopped and held him to a field goal right before the half.
Yes.
To me, it's mind-boggling. Special teams, we talked about Nick Folk, his accuracy. I thought Ty Zettner punted pretty good today. The coverage, again, is so great now. It's just like when Craig left, the coverage got better. I don't know what they did.
I don't either.
But I think this is what I honestly think, guys. I think when Vrabel fires somebody in the middle of the season, which he's never done, I think they probably put some people on notice.
Yeah.
And he did drop it. Nathan, he did drop that punt. It was a low snap. You're right. That's what got the Jags right there, right before the half. You're exactly right, sir. That was a big error. But again, the defense bails them out.
Yeah, bailed them out.
Football follows. But the thing about it, really, you talk about the third down percentage for the Jags and everything, which was what 50% or something like that.
It was better
Yeah,
than that.
yeah. It's typical of the Titans defense this year. You're making plays on third downs and you're getting penalties.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it just kept happening. It
It's like clockwork.
didn't happen as much today, but it still happened.
Right.
One of the DBs make a great play, knocks the ball away and everything, and then you get somebody get Sean
SMB.
Murphy got called for holding. I'm like, we can't win, man. It's always something. It's the craziest thing.
That's Blue Boo. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you joining the show. Hey, man, but you know what? And it's just like, I think it was Nathan Moat. It's what he said. I'll take SMB, but you got to take the good with the bad.
You got to take the good with the bad with him, man.
He reminds you of the Jackrabbit when he was here. You know he's going to get you one. Every game. He going to get you one every game. Regardless of what. We know he's going to be physical. He's going to tackle.
Yes.
And he's going to get you a PI or a hold every game. So,
like clockwork.
Yeah.
As long as he got a safety over the top, he's fine. But if he's one-on-one by himself out there, lights out because he's not that fast.
I was trying to miss on Ridley again. He had a perfect crossing pattern. Deep.
On that last drive.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Danico getting in his face.
Danico threw that off a little bit and really put everything to try to get there too.
Yeah, he really did.
Dion, you're right, man. We play complimentary. The problem is we play complimentary, but we don't coach common sense. Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah.
The coaching. So let's move on because the next question, that was one of the questions that was asked, is there any coaching changes coming up? And so, J. Lou, me and G, we're gonna always air the side of you on this because you're in the know. And we don't tell how he's in the know, but just he's in the know. Trust us, because everything he says on this show comes to light, and y'all know it. And y'all been rocking with us for the past 2 years since J. Lou been on here, man. He's been 100%, if not 99.9% on everything he said on this show. So, J. Lou, man, coaching changes. A lot of rumors out there about Vrabel. We see things coming out. Locking for you can't believe everything he said. And I know you can't believe anything hardly anybody says until it comes out of the horse's mouth itself.
Right. Yeah.
But J. Lou, at least, man, we got to do some of these assistant coaches. Some of them.
Yeah, I think we have deja vu of malarkey. I truly think that Amy has the conversation to. I think you see Vrabel lose a little bit of power. Most folks forget that he has a lot of player personnel power, more than some other coaches. So I think you might see some of that come off of him, and I think you could possibly see him have to make some tough staff changes. Now, I think the first domino fell when he got Craig up out of here, and him and Craig was close, but he got Craig up out of here because Craig got his Pro Bowl punter blown up. I think if I had to guess right now, and again, this next 48 hours could tell a lot, I would think you would more see a defensive coordinator change as opposed to offense.
Please, Lord, let that happen.
Because I personally just think that offense might want to run it back with more players on that line to kind of help. But again, I do think it's a tough conversation that if as we talked about it in the stands today, Vrabel's going to have to put his pride aside. He's going to have to be, and I don't know if it was us talking in our chat about take a look at Harbaugh in Baltimore.
It was us.
He changed offensive coordinators this year, went to college and got one. Second year of this defensive coordinator, and he's kind of stepped back to be the head person in charge, the coach, which you should do. And that's what Vrabel's going to have to do, and allow his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator to have their own philosophies. Because I think we all can agree, Vrabel's been coaching 6 years, 7 years. Name me one philosophy that's changed on this team, either offensively or defense, and you can't think of one because it's been none. But I do think when you hear a lot of these rumors, and again, a lot of the rumors are from leaks from everybody. Everybody has these sources they talk to. I do think that I think Amy has a real tough conversation over the next couple of days, and I think she gives him and Rand at least one off season to try to figure it out. But I think you could see Vrabel lose a little bit of power.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. And I think that's something that you saw today.
Yeah.
I think the word is out because again, we saw Tim Kelly call plays he hasn't called all season long. I mean, he pulled out every trick in the book that
A
he
flea
had.
flick on the tight end screen. That's crazy.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I'm like, where did that one come from?
Yeah.
So I think he was definitely trying to. I think the word is out. I think that article we saw in the Tennessean is real telling because I mean, Amy and I'm sure Amy and Rand have had their conversation. I'm sure she's asked, Rand what he thinks and everything. They're going to have a hard conversation with Vrabel. It's going to be the Malarkey Munchak conversation. You got to make some changes, and you got to swallow your pride and understand who you are in this hierarchy. Really, you're the head coach. You don't need to be calling the offense, and you don't need to be calling the defense. Let your coordinators do their job.
Right.
I think you may see an offensive line coach change. I think
if not, you should.
Yeah.
you may. I'm like, you may. I'm like, it seems common sense, but really, he has to go out. To me, you got to go out and get a real defensive coordinator. Quit trying to just promotions from within. Go out and get you a real defensive coordinator. Really, I think you should go out and get you a real offensive coordinator. But again, Jay Lou, you saying that they're probably going to give
They might, yeah,
a pass and everything. Although I don't understand why, but
I think the only reason that I say that you might can see him with a pass if you keep the head coaches the same is because you don't want Will Levis to fall into that Mariota status where you're changing coordinator so much.
Right.
So I think that's the only reason that they give him a pass and try to build that line that way.
Very possible. I don't know.
And somebody mentioned Lovey. I think it was Dion. And I got to agree with Eddie Gray on this. Lovey's a cover two guy. I don't think we are built with a personnel for cover two, in my opinion. You'd have to have an overhaul because you got to have some big, stout defensive ends and big, stout tackles who run a 4-3. Yeah. And right now we don't have that. We're not built like that. Jeffrey Simmons is not a big tackle. He's probably a defensive end in a 4-3, in my opinion. And then you don't have the linebackers to play that. And so, not saying they couldn't pick those folks up, but he's a strict cover two guy, like Eddie Gray mentioned, man. And we need a pressure scheme because we play too soft right now. So we need to be able to brace it.
In today's NFL, in all honesty, when you stop and think about it, you got to have a DC who's adaptable and willing to change
and change it up on the fly. That's right.
I mean, because with these offenses that you have right now, in order to combat against that, you got to be willing to change everything up.
Yes.
To confuse people. Now, most of the time, I thought in the Netflix special, I thought Patrick Mahomes gave the Titans the Titans defense the best compliment anybody's ever gave. It's the fact that they always change up something. To make you think and everything. And, they always come tough. But at the same time, we got to be more creative because contrary to what you said, J. Lou, they blitzed numerous times today.
It was just easy to pick up.
Yeah, you're right.
It was just easy to pick up.
It
just was so easy that you didn't even think it was blitzing. You just thought it was part of the play.
They blitzed numerous times, but no one ever got near them. I mean, it was like Eddie said, you run the blitz and they ran what was a safety and a linebacker blitz and they both hit the hole at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you're not fooling anybody with this stuff. So that's my whole thing. And of course I've been on that bandwagon and I said it about, and I'll say it again because I said it about Vrabel when they first hired him. Offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is going to be the key for him being successful.
Oh yeah.
And that's just the way it is. He's got to be willing to be. Because like Jim Schwartz said, he's probably the best game manager in the game, really, as far as managing a game. But he's not a coordinator. He's not a play caller. Stop trying to call the plays.
Man, there's a whole nother story right there. So you mentioned a good point, G. Witt, about Patrick Mahomes. So think about it. Now, that was last year, that QB1 or whatever it's called on Netflix. So what's the difference now? Jim Schwartz is on that defense. That's right. Jim Schwartz was calling that defense. So, he got a whole bunch of different looks in the past 2 years from Schwartzy helping out. And so and they were playing more aggressive. But yeah, and so who do we draft at number 7? The question came up. So, and then I'll let y'all go. Here's my
let Jay Lou go because I have no opinion on this one.
okay.
I say trade back.
So your biggest problem right now is your offensive line is in shambles.
Yeah.
I would say you go offensive line. I know everybody wants to do Marvin Harrison Jr. This, but if you don't have time to throw the ball, you're gonna be in the same situation you were this year. But go ahead, J. Lou.
So I agree. It's I go back and forth because you want weapons, yes.
Yeah.
But you've got to. There's a reason that Joe Burrow ain't finished the game. They finished the season this year.
Just
and
look
he's
at
got
Sunshine.
weapons. Look at Sunshine. I mean, you've got to protect. I think that a lot of people. At worst, had we lost today, we move up one spot to 6. Yeah. So that's not earth-shattering because that ain't top 4 or whatnot. And you never know. Again, the Underwear Olympics is coming up, the whole 9. So some of these, Penix can go out there tomorrow and clown and all of a sudden move up into a top 3 spot when you talk about quarterbacks because nobody's really put him in there yet.
Yeah, I don't understand that because
I don't either.
The boy can throw that rock, man.
Yes. So you never know.
Good accuracy, man.
This time of the year, everybody's big on quarterbacks, so you don't know who's gonna move up. I personally think that people didn't think we would be able to get Peter Skoronski if we stayed at 11, and we stayed there and he failed to us. Mm-hmm. So you just don't know. Again, I think one of these tackles still have the opportunity to fall. Yeah. Or keep your eye. I'll give y'all this little nugget. Keep your eye on that 4th spot. There's a team that's drafting 4th that is very friendly with the Titans organization. And we just got burnt and didn't get to trade with them last year, but from 4 to 7 could be a swap if you really want to go get a tackle. That's why I wasn't so upset. I kept telling you I wanted to be within the top 10 because once you're in the top 10, you can make some things move. And to go from 7 to 4 with some assets that you got next year, that could be enough to go up there and get your guy that you want. And we know that Arizona, that team can be a nice trade partner. So I'm with you, Ed. You've got to go get we sat here and watched this offensive line give up all these sacks back-to-back years. You can't do it for a third.
Not if you think, and I was telling G with this, if you think Levis is your franchise QB, you've got to protect him.
Yep.
And I get it. You want weapons, but you got to protect him first, man. He didn't even finish the season.
Right? I always remember this, and the best, and this is one thing I always gave Malarkey credit for. Because, he came in and, he had to take over for Wisenhunt and take care of Mariota. The best thing you can do for a quarterback, give him a running game.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do for a quarterback. And that, again, goes back to what you both have been saying. The offensive line has got to be addressed.
It's got to be.
And my thing, and I'm still on the same point. I think you have to go out and find you a solid free agent center. You have to, and you could draft a center, but you have to go out and find a solid free agent center who can anchor your offensive line.
Yes, sir. I agree with you on that. Let's see. Deion says he can move Sko out to left tackle and drop the guard. That's an option too. I don't have an issue with that either. Integrated Penix is cold. You right, man.
I think the ship has sailed on Skoronski. I think the problem with Skoronski is that he was drafted so high and he was a left tackle.
Yeah.
But when you listen to a lot of personnel folks around the league and folks that play that position, he's better suited and rated out to be an all-pro guard. The problem is he's got that 11th selection attached to him.
Yeah.
But I think if you try to make that change to move him now, you could possibly stunt again. Now, granted, he played the position, yes, but it's a lot different to play it in college than in the pros. But I think you allowed him to go through this year. He had to go through adversity because my man lost 25 pounds. When he had his surgery or whatnot.
Right.
So, and for him to still rate out like he did, and now he gets a full NFL offseason to get a true NFL body and continue to master that guard position. Your best bet again is to get somebody on that left to protect him, and to G.Will's point, get a center, because for again, I'll go back and we keep saying it for what people saw him getting bull rushed a few plays and all this. Think about who was playing on the left, and think about who's playing at the center that's getting bull rushed all the time. So
Right.
I think that's why that's sailed on there as far as moving him.
Yeah. And truth be known, he got a little dog in him. He got some nastiness
He
in
does.
He got some nastiness.
He does.
And so, like you said, you give him a full off season, get some strength on his belt, man. He might be looking at another Quentin Nelson or somebody like that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Nathan says, "Do we bring Hubbard back at right tackle?" I thought he did okay.
I think if you need veteran presence and you need swing
and a little bit of depth,
and a little bit of depth, I think he's a depth piece, just like NPF. I think that's a
Yeah.
depth piece there for you. There's no way. Well, I mean, there is a way because we've got to have. What did we have this year? Was it 4? We had 5 new starters, didn't we? Yeah, because NPF technically didn't play.
Yeah.
We had
And then you
5
put
new-
Brewer at center
Yeah,
first. You
Brewer
started at
center.
center. Yeah.
So we have 5. So
Yeah.
you're looking at doing it at minimum 4,
Right.
because you got Peter coming back. So
Yeah.
I personally think you sign Brunskill back, and that's your center. And I'll to be honest, I think I'm gonna mess up his last name, but the guy we got from Carolina, no, the guy that played guard today.
Yeah.
Rucci.
I thought he played pretty decent the last couple
did.
games. To
He
where
did.
again, these are folks that we don't want them to start 18 games for you. But when you start looking about, and that's what's the problem with the offensive line. We have no depth. We went from having a true solid 7 or 8 to having nothing in the last 3 years. So
Right.
I think some of these guys you saw playing today is depth. And yeah, Eddie Gray, to answer your question,
He can.
he can play center. He can play
Yeah,
center.
he's played all positions.
Yeah, he's played all positions. Virgil brings a good question. Can we get a Doomsday or Worthy after dressing line? To me, now I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is he's the best receiver, but Odunze is probably number 2. Man, you watch it. That dude, man, he bodies people for the football. He gets open. He can make all the catches. If he's there, man, I say we take him as well. He's a good receiver. He can run the routes. Yeah, he's a physical guy.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, J. Lou and me and G we talked about it today going to the game, is that the overhaul needs to be like the Ravens. The coaching staff overhaul needs to be just like T. Martin's the quarterback coach.
Yes.
Now we keep Charles London. I think he's a great coach. But I'm with you. And then you look at the Texans 1 year rebuild, and they won the division. They go in the playoffs. So it don't take much. You just got to get the right personnel in the game. You got to get the right coaches.
Right
Go ahead.
coaches.
Yeah, and the right
person.
person.
You saw who he brought in for his OC.
That's right.
You saw who he brought in, and again,
somebody from the Schottenheimer tree.
Now, again, they hit the ball out of the park in drafting C.J. Stroud. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah,
the man doesn't make turnovers. I mean, come on. So that was really the key. Him and Will Anderson Jr. Drafting both of them, I think was the key, both offensively and defensively. But at the same time, what you see here, again, we go back to this. As far as the defense for the Texans is concerned, DeMeco Ryans was a defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
And that defense was top 5 the whole season.
That's right.
So he can call defensive plays. You can see that. Vrabel, when he was a DC for 1 year, his defense was in the bottom.
Was the worst.
It was the worst in the league. If you cannot call plays, I go back to that again. Go find you an OC and a DC who actually know what they're doing, and let them go and let them do the job.
A lot of people want Arthur Smith back when he gets fired. Bring it back to be the tight end coach and OC assistant.
I mean, so I could see him being a consultant on the offensive side, similar to Schwartz was. And it ain't no if. It's just a matter of when, because Arthur probably got his walking papers in the morning.
Oh, I'm sure he yeah. And for the Saints, man, for those that saw that was that was just cold. Man.
Somebody explain something to me, because I just saw a headline right before we came on where they said the players did that on their own.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
So
if they wanted to get Jamal Williams a touchdown.
He might have had some kind of incentive
too. He probably did.
That was messed up though, man. I need that play on Madden, by the way. I don't know if anybody got some pull on the programmers for Madden. I need that fake kneel down. fullback dive
Dive.
for a
Yes.
touchdown. So, but yeah, man. Thank y'all again, man, for another season of halftime adjustments, man. It was rough, stressful, not stressful. It was disappointing at times, frustrating at times. But appreciate y'all sticking with us and supporting us every show and your comments and your questions, man. And we've expanded across Twitch and Twitter or X, Facebook and YouTube and all the things, man. Broadcasting live, man. We continue to put that content out there, man, for y'all. Appreciate the feedback. And see, oh my God, I put the word in EA. Appreciate that, Louis. Adam, man, appreciate Joe. He said he like a Doomsday too. He's gonna be still. We need someone
Turbulence.
online to help, but he's got to be second round. Coaching needs to change. We need to play offense very sparingly. Yep. One word describe the Stevens. Turbulence. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, man, it's like a bad relationship. You got your ups and your downs.
I had to laugh. I got to put this out there because Josh been on there and everything. Man, it's been funny watching the Steeler fans because they put out the curse of the towel hit the Jaguars.
Hit the Jaguars.
Yep. Appreciate your version, man. Appreciate that support, brother.
Never disrespect the terrible towel.
Never disrespect the terrible towel. Y'all remember when Lindell did that day?
Lindell and Bullet. Yeah.
Right. Hey, never disrespect the terrible towel, man. But thank y'all again, man, for joining us. Hey, one last thing. Super Bowl prediction. Get you one in. I know you don't like to do that, G-Wit, man, but who you got? Who you think gonna be there? Is it J. Lou? Is it scripted? Because the script says, according to my children,
Ravens.
According to my children, the script said the Chiefs and the Lions. Now, the color scheme says Ravens in San Francisco.
Yeah, I go 49ers versus 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo's hot right now. It just takes the time to get hot, man. And I can't see the score of the game right now, but it just takes.
If Buffalo wins tonight, they're the number 2 seed, and I think that's the worst thing.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there. You saw when the Ravens went there a few years ago, and it was cold and the wind. Lamar got knocked out. Deion says that y'all gonna do some. Man, we're gonna do some off-season shows, man. I'm telling y'all, next week is Monday's Black Monday. And if there's big news, we're going to have a show. So, 14-7 Miami is winning. Okay. Appreciate that, man.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, man, to be honest with you. I my gut from what I've seen is the 49ers and Baltimore. But, in the playoffs, anything can happen, man.
Don't count on Detroit, man.
I know who won't be there. I know who won't be. The Eagles.
Right.
Yeah. The Eagles are probably going to be one and done.
Right. AJ Brown got hurt today. Don't know how serious that is, but
yeah. And the coach just pulled everybody. He's like, okay, we're done.
Detroit.
Just Giants just run away with it. You ain't going nowhere anyway. Just run away with it. So
I actually like that Detroit Eddie Gray. I like that. I like the way they play. They play physical football.
Yeah, Detroit's a scary team.
They're gonna be tough to beat.
Detroit's a scary team, but again, sometimes you just gotta be careful. Now, I will say this: the fact that Jared Goff has been in the playoffs before and been to the Super Bowl, that might help them a little bit as far as offensively is concerned. I think defensively they're gonna be fine. They're gonna make it rough for everybody.
You know what you gotta have in the playoffs: defense and the run game.
They play the Rams first.
Yes.
I looked at the NFC side and I could see all 5, 6, and 7 because who does the Cowboys get? Green Bay. Yeah, they get the 7 seed, so that could be a tough one. But the Cowboys at home should pick that out.
Yeah, the Cowboys at home, so they'll win that.
I actually, as much as I like Detroit, I think they drew a short straw taking the Rams. I think that's
the Rams is a dangerous team.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah. 49ers are real deep. Yeah. Let's see. Rams play Detroit. Eddie Gray says Baltimore. Lions make sense. Of course. Oh my guys. Louis, Ken Lou, Packers. Of course. Cheesehead. We know you gonna roll with them as well.
They don't come out of Dallas though. That's their problem. That's their problem. They don't come out of Dallas. Dallas is gonna win at home.
That's why you got to play the game. See who shows up. Who
Yeah.
shows up is the big key.
But they could surprise them because one
Could.
thing about Green Bay, they can run the ball.
Yeah. That's right. The Rams. That's what makes the Rams game so intriguing because you got McVay, you got Goff, you got Stafford, who they traded away to get Stafford. Man, it's so the storylines. The storylines in the first round of the playoffs next weekend are huge across the board.
Depending on how if tonight held up, you get Kansas City and Buffalo in round 1.
Yeah,
if Miami score holds, I think you get Kansas City, Buffalo
at KC, and they said it's gonna be 10 degrees.
Yep.
so we said, let's see. Deion said, "Who the Jazz got to play in the first round? Oh, they gonna be playing the couch with us.
The same ones we got.
They gonna be sitting right beside us, Hey, man, who you root for in the playoffs? hey, guy. McCarthy. I know, man. Like I said, the storylines are humongous.
Oh yeah,
you could think about it. So you got that. You might have a Bills KC matchup, which they've the last couple seasons is gone down. The most heartbreaking loss to me was the overtime. Kansas City had 13 seconds left, and they let them get in field goal range. And
that was Leslie Frazier's fault.
Right.
And I always go back to that.
Yeah, and if the Bills win and get the 2 seed, then you get Miami versus KC.
Yeah.
But it being KC.
Yes.
Miami would have won that game.
Yeah.
Too cold for them.
Yeah, Josh, I agree with you, man. McCarthy, he'll get beat in the playoffs because he can't his game management technique.
Yes.
It's horrible.
Right. So don't be surprised if Dallas gets upset in the first and second round.
And the funny thing, hey J. Lou, I know you had to be laughing at it too because we were talking about it up in the stands, man. You notice how they kept 61 kept making sure he told the referee, "I'm eligible." Every time. If the referee went until he signaled, he kept telling them until he signaled.
Yes.
Man, that one time he wasn't even looking. I was like,
he said, "Dude, I'm eligible, man. Come on."
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be some good matchups, man. I hope Miami wins. So Buffalo, I want to see the Buffalo KC game again. That's always a great football game.
Yes.
It is, man. And to go in the Arrowhead this time of year and play, good luck.
Yeah, especially with the receiving issues, the drop passes that they've been having all season long.
Yeah,
it's going to exacerbate itself in the playoffs, man.
Oh yeah,
it's really going to show up in the playoffs.
I'm just saying, Airbnb, you lose your good OC, man. I know that he can't help the receivers dropping passes, but the offense itself overall.
If what they said about Eric Bieniemy at the beginning of the season when he first got in Washington and everything is true, they wouldn't have been dropping that many passes in KC.
No, sure.
There you go. That's right. Now, Deion, man, come on, man. You got to move past that now, brother.
No, Deion, I said the same thing when Tannehill game was over today.
Yeah.
I said, Tannehill, you didn't get to say goodbye on the microphone because you blew it in 2022.
That's right. That's right.
Right. I had it set up for you, man. And this defense got 11 sacks. You still lose the game.
You still lose the game.
9 or 2 of them didn't count for real, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them didn't count. Yeah, that's true. 9 officially, 11 really.
Right.
I was like, man, but anyway, you got to let that one go. That's 2 years ago, so you got to let that one go.
Well, like I said, man, when news come out, man, you expect us to come back and talk about it, let y'all get y'all's comments and questions in about it. But thank y'all again for supporting us for another season of Halftime Adjustment, man. Eddie Arnell G with J. Lou, man. We rocking again. Stay with us. We'll be back. We're going to be here for the off season. We're going to talk about it. J. Lou going to give you some insights, man, that you're not going to get anywhere else. And it's going to be 99.9% accurate. Go back and watch the film. Go back and watch the film. You judge it for yourself, man. I tell no tale. I tell no tale. We know that G went. We know that.
We tried to prep you. Hey, at least you didn't sit through 4 and 13. It was
right. At least, and at least he got a win to go out. And he got to see Michael Griffin and Nate White. Hey, we got him, man. We got halftime adjustment.